Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, where I do trailer reactions, I react to YouTube videos, I review YouTube channels, occasionally I'll review a movie, but really, I just do whatever the hell I want. Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude. Gonna do another one from Most Amazing Top 10. This is Top 10 Nursery Rhymes you didn't realize were actually scary. You know, when you think about it, some of them do sound kind of weird. Let's check this.
Nursery rhymes were a part of a lot of our childhoods growing up, but man are some of them dark. On today's list, we are going to be diving into some of the little ditties that made up a lot of our childhoods that most of us had no idea were rooted in horrible historical events, or some that are just terrifying when we really take a step back and listen to the lyrics. Let's not waste any time and get right into the top 10 nursery rhymes you didn't realize were actually scary. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have Ring Around the Rosie. Ring Around the Rosie originated in 1881, and while a lot of us think we know the dark origins surrounding it, it turns out that what we may have believed might not actually be true at all. Many people believe that the nursery rhyme was about the 1665 Great Plague of London, and that the Rosie was in reference to a rash that the infected person would get, and that the pocket full of posies was to cover the smell, and that the ending of ashes, ashes, we all fall down, well, you know what that was thought to be. But as it turns out, this apparently is not the origin at all. Apparently the origins are more likely to be from the religious ban on dancing that many 19th century Protestants in Britain and North America faced. They created a thing called play parties to get around the ban, which were ring games, which were different enough from dancing that they were allowed, but close enough that children were able to get the same kind of effect as dancing. I suppose this may be a little less dark than what we originally thought, but a ban on dancing is definitely pretty extreme. In our number 9 spot today, we have Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater. Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater is one that I don't really know the origins of, but we have got to take a look at these lyrics and try to interpret what they could be about.
Yeah.
He had a wife, but couldn't keep her, so he put her in a pumpkin shell and kept her there? Firstly, this guy likes pumpkins way too much. But secondly, and more importantly, did he kidnap a woman and keep her hostage? Or does this mean that he ate her? Because he very quickly moves on to another woman that he doesn't even like? There's a lot going on in this one, and as we've come to realize from this list, the sweet...
Let's go back a little bit and read the whole thing.
So he put her in a pumpkin...
Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater had a wife but couldn't keep her. So he put her in a pumpkin shell and there he kept her very well. Yeah, he kidnapped her. Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater had another and didn't love her. Peter learned to read and spell, and then he loved her very well. Yeah, I don't get it. That's just weird. I don't know. I don't get it.
Pumpkin shell and kept her there? Firstly, this guy likes pumpkins way too much. But secondly, and more importantly, did he kidnap a woman and keep her hostage? Or does this mean that he ate her? Because he very quickly moves on to another woman that he doesn't even like? There's a lot going on in this one, and as we've come to realize from this list, the sweet little rhymes aren't always as innocent as they appear. If you know the origin tale behind this nursery rhyme, let us know down below in the comments so we can get down to the bottom of this mystery. In our number 8 spot today, we have Eenie Meenie Miny Mo. Eenie Meenie Miny Mo, catch a tiger by his toe, seems like it should be harmless enough, right? Well, the origins of it have been masked by the changing of one word in this little rhyme. The word tiger is relatively new to the rhyme and was actually a replacement for the N-word. Many people had no idea that these were the origins behind this one, and some people have even found the nursery rhyme damaging despite the change in lyrics. I know the rhyme has an entirely different connotation and message than it used to, but it has been used in way too recent of history for us to not stop and take a second to acknowledge where it actually comes from. In 2004, there were actually 2 passengers on a Southwest Airlines flight who sued the company over a flight attendant who used that rhyme in what she thought was a playful fashion, as she announced over the speaker, "Eenie, meenie, miny, mo, please sit down, it's time to go." The court did end up siding with the airline because this may have been a bit overdramatic.
I think it is.
It is a reminder to all of us to be careful of what
she
exactly we are
didn't use
saying.
the racist
In our number 7 spot today,
term,
we have
so.
Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Mary, Mary, quite contrary is
How does
perhaps
the garden
unsurprisingly
grow?
about Queen Mary I. What seems like someone asking for some gardening advice is actually just a sweet little description of how murderous the Queen really was. With a nickname like Bloody Mary, I guess it really does make sense. Queen Mary was extremely religious, and as a Catholic, during her reign, she was sure to see the execution of hundreds of Protestants. The silver bells and cockle shells that the rhyme mentions are actually apparently torture devices. The growing of the garden is apparently in reference to the bodies in the cemetery, and the pretty maids all in a row are the people who were lined up for the guillotine. This one is much darker than...
That kind of... it clashes to me. It's like she was an extremely religious person, but she chopped all these people's heads off and murdered all these Protestants because they weren't the same religion or whatever. Oh my goodness.
I would have ever realized, and it's actually kind of sad. I'm glad to know the story behind this one, though, so that I can ensure to remove it from my repertoire. In our number 6 spot today, we have It's Raining, It's Pouring. It's Raining, It's Pouring was always a fun little ditty to pass the time on a rainy day, but boy, when we actually look into this one, it may not be at all what it seems. It seems to be one of the cases where we sing the tune without really thinking about the words we are saying. The old man is snoring, he went to bed, pumped his head, but he couldn't get up in the morning? Is this man okay? Can somebody get him some help? This makes me wonder if his head bump gave him a concussion and he didn't know, and he didn't have someone there to wake him up every so often. I have so many questions about this one, and the rhyme does not give us any answers at all. It's not like there's a dark story that ends off on a happy note or really any sort of conclusion at all. We're all just left wondering if the old man will ever be okay. In our number 5 spot today, we have Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush. Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush is a part of a cute children's game, but it does not have the origins I think any of us were thinking. This song, according to historians, actually originated in a female prison. Apparently at England's Wakefield prison, women used to be exercised around a mulberry bush in the moonlight, and this is what the song is allegedly referring to. This certainly isn't the darkest one on this list, but it definitely is a weird concept to think of as a children's game. This mulberry bush actually was still around until recently in 2017 when it ended up dying. It was cut down, but there were cuttings from it from years before that had been planted and have now turned into mature trees, so cuttings from those would be planted in the original spot in order to grow a new one. I guess that's a bit of a nicer ending to kind of a sad story. In our number 4 spot today, we have Georgie Porgy, Puddin' and Pie. Georgie Porgy is one of those rhymes that...
Georgie Porgy, Puddin' and Pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. That's all I remember of it.
We know can't be good just based off of the lyrics themselves. Georgie Porgy, Puddin' and Pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. Okay, that's creepy. Stealing kisses from girls who clearly don't want to be kissed is a concept I don't really have to explain why it's awful, but just to say that he runs away when the boys come out to play, is that because he's scared of the repercussions of his actions? Anyway, this rhyme is thought to be about King Charles II, who has quite a reputation for, well, everything we just talked about. King Charles II was known for being too busy with women to actually focus on his royal duties. Like, to the point where he forced his wife Catherine to appoint one of his mistresses as the Lady of the Bedchamber, which granted her the ability to roam around the castle as she pleased, but also ensure she would be there whenever King Charles needed her. Ew. It's just gross to even think about, and it makes you really feel for poor Catherine. What a terrible situation to be forced into. In our number 3 spot today, we have London Bridge Has Fallen Down. Okay, so first of all with this one, I have to ask why we were all just okay with singing about the collapsing of a bridge to begin with. Backstory or not, there's a lot to unpack there, but let's get into the origins of this one as well. There are a few theories surrounding this one, and some are less horrible than others. One is that this song may just be in reference to how difficult the bridge was to build and that it took years before it was completed.
Yeah.
Okay, not so bad. Another theory is that it is referencing the apparent destruction of the London Bridge by Olaf II of Norway all the way back in 1014. Okay, less great, but still not the worst on this list. But here's the last theory, that the song is actually about a child sacrifice ritual and that the song is about burying children alive in the foundation of the bridge. This is because of the belief that the bridge would collapse if there wasn't a human body buried at the base of it, and that there needed to be a watchman in order to ensure it stayed intact. The good news is that there hasn't been any evidence of this found in the foundations of the bridge, but I truly don't even want to know how this rumor got its start in the first place, because it can't be good. In our number 2 spot today, we have Rockabye Baby. Firstly, just the lyrics to this one are very weird and creepy despite any kind of backstory. But the origins of this one are thought to be with the son of King James II and Mary. That's it. That's who she is today. It is actually believed that their son was not their biological son and that he was a baby brought into the birthing room in order to be passed off as theirs so as to ensure a Roman Catholic heir to the throne. Apparently in these times, cradles were sometimes hung in trees, so the song is about a baby who was in his cradle with a soft breeze rocking him back and forth, but then a thief came to steal him out of it for the sake of the king and queen, which led the cradle to fall, baby and all. This is definitely not what I would have thought this one was about, and it certainly is very horrifying.
Kind of obvious.
In our number 1 spot today, we have the 3 Blind Mice. The 3 Blind Mice is probably not really appropriate anymore, but it also has absolutely nothing to do with rodents. The rhyme is actually another one that comes from Bloody Queen Mary's reign, and what she did when she found some men who were conspiring against her. Queen Mary has been known for her violent reign and insatiable bloodlust, so this story may not be all that surprising, but it certainly is dark. The story behind this one is that 3 Protestant bishops, Hugh Latimer, Nicholas Radley, and the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, all foiled a plan to try and overthrow the queen. The blindness is apparently in reference to their religious beliefs, and when she found out about this plan, instead of cutting off the tails of the mice, as the rhyme suggests, she instead burned them at the stake. It's kind of wild to think this is the story kids have been singing for centuries, and it's actually about people being burned alive. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thank you so much for checking it out.
Well, that was kind of interesting. Top 10 nursery rhymes you didn't realize were actually scary. I don't know about scary, but some of them I kind of knew about. Let's see. The only thing that's ever in bed with me is crumbs. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hashtag Mean Gene, all that fun stuff. And if you like this video, tell all your friends, leave a comment down below. And if you didn't like it, then just shut up. And I will see you next time.